What's up, guys? Hope you're doing well. Love ya. And I want to talk a little bit about. I was gonna say specifically religious issue when somebody's in some sort of religious group, cult, or whatever, any religion, and you think it's wrong, you think they're an idiot, you think they're dumb, you think they don't know what they're talking about, they're brainwashed, etc., etc., etc. It could really apply to anything, though. Politics, any belief that somebody has. But I see people be most kind of like crazy about religion, and I think a lot of it is people who were once religious or have been affected by some sort of religious group, then they're emotional about it. But oftentimes it's not too. It's just people who think they're wrong, or people in another religion. What I'm getting to the point is, if you want to get somebody out of their headspace that you think is wrong or their beliefs, you're doing them and yourself a disservice and the world a disservice by bringing hatred into it, by bringing aggressiveness, by bringing kind of aggravating people. There are instances where somebody's hit over the head with, embarrassment, or they're just shown to be dumb, and so on and so forth, where people do change. That does happen, but it's far less often, and you're just bringing more badness in the world, because then that person's learned, oh, that's what I have to do to other people to get to turn them around. Whereas most of the time, it's much better to be like, I will put it in this video I'll put it in another video. I don't know, whatever. You can look it up this for yourself. There's this video of Mr. Rogers. This is the best example, the quintessential example of changing someone's mind I've ever seen in my life. If you don't know who Mr. Rogers is, he had a children's show in America, and they came out with a movie about him 3 or 4 years ago or something. Tom Hanks played him. It's a really fantastic movie. I highly recommend it. And basically, he was kind of thought of as one of the best people. He had this children's show, and he really tried to make kids feel loved and accepted as they were. He helped with disabled kids. He tried to get racial barriers destroyed. He was just very soft-spoken. He tried to help kids deal with their anger, and I'm getting emotional thinking about it, because it's such a pure love that he had. And he kind of, it's interesting that I'm talking about, I didn't even think about this when I was started, but he thought of it as a, how do you say, sort of his way to reach out to the world and make a better place, his mission. and it was through this children's show. And now I'm trying to think. Yeah, so what I'm saying is, he went to Congress or wherever they got the funding, because it was a public television show, and I myself am not really supportive of public television. And the guy there who was in charge of making the decision at the time was really against it, and he was kind of a tough guy. And Mr. Rogers very gently, very kindly broke down. He came in there just with kind of open arms, saying, we're trying to make the world a better place. We're trying to help children. These children will then grow up and become adults, and we believe this money is worth it, investing in this program where we're trying to really make a difference in the emotional state of children. And I myself certainly changed my mind. The guy changed his mind. He not only went through and gave the money for the funding of the program that they wanted. I think they doubled it. So, as I was saying, I think this is the best example that I know of. And I think it applies to most situations. You know, there's you can look at the outliers and the extreme situations. You know, this happened and it worked for me once. Like I said before, or, you know, in extreme situations, sometimes you don't have time to kind of present the nice way. Sometimes you don't have time to take someone one-on-one, which I think is usually the best way to do things. But you don't always have time. But when you do have time, when you can deal that way, I think it's the best. Now, we do get, again, into some things that I don't know how to handle, like some people seem to only respond to sort of rage and freaking out, and especially if you've been raised in that, like myself, so it's been hard for me to kind of take people seriously unless they got really mad sometimes. I think I'm much better now, but anyway. Wrap things up. I think you get what I mean in that try to be really nice, try to be really loving, and you know what, just so you don't have to go anywhere, I'll put that video in here at the end. Yeah, so try to, you know, I guess if I were to say exact steps as to what to do, number one, try to get somebody one-on-one if you can. Makes it as clear of communication as possible. Try to come in there being friendly, possibly complimentary. You know, thank you for your time. Thanks for listening to me. And I want to just tell you what I think, not forcing somebody, not saying, you got to believe this. Saying, here's the evidence, here's what I think, and here's why. Be clear, be concise as much as possible. It's very helpful if things are simple. And a lot of people that believe things, they particularly if they believe something that's wrong, it's been drilled in their brain over and over, and they've been told, oh, if someone says this, you should say this, or this is how we combat any sort of thing that says that we're wrong. And if you're built on falsities, if your side is wrong, those arguments are going to be not very good, and they're probably going to run out of those arguments, because you can only come up with, if you're building your foundation on the truth, then you know exactly why you believe what you believe. But if you're building your foundation on because someone told you something that's, you know, not true, you're going to have to keep coming up with like lies to keep this belief going in your head. So if you keep things simple and to the point and with evidence, it's easy for people to see, wow, that's, yeah, I can't believe that wasn't in front of my face. I didn't realize that the whole time, or I never thought about that. It's just easier for people to process if it's simple, and you know, you show reasons why. So I don't think I did that simple. I don't think I made my video that simple in explaining how to explain, but hopefully you got the gist. And yeah, thanks for watching. Try to be kind, loving, and just explain your side. I don't even, at this point in my life, I don't even, if somebody starts being passive aggressive, starts kind of making fun of me, laughing, if people are rude, I'm out of the conversation at that point. I can talk with them again in the future, but I've dealt with so much stuff. I know as soon as you start going down that road, it can easily just be, you know, a rolling stone and picking up more and more aggression. So just no aggression, no malice, no being rude, just kindness, love, understanding, trying to help. So yeah, hope that help you guys. Thanks, and if you would comment, and I'd like to hear what you think, and like if you want, subscribe if you want. If not, that's fine, but I appreciate it. And take care.